Hello and welcome to another video trying to get you the very top grades. So I'm posing you this question: how do you want to remember these weeks in August? So when you come round to get your results in August, how do you want to look back at this time? I'm asking that because it's really easy to be deflated by a difficult exam. So I've seen many comments about yesterday's biology exam and quite a few people disappointed with today's English exam. And I'm going to try and bring you the good news, and it really is good news, about how you can still get the grade that you want. So this might surprise you. Your grade is graded against everyone else, not by the question. So if you did particularly badly in a question, because the question was difficult, that won't matter to your grade because the chances are everyone else will have had similar problems. So it's a bit like this analogy. Here is a man being chased by a bear. Now, this in my picture here is someone who thinks they've done badly in the exam. However, he hasn't. The bear is not going to kill him because he's already moving. It's the photographer who's standing still, trying to get the picture, and he only has to be faster than the photographer. The bear's going to kill him. And that's the old joke, isn't it? If two people running away from a bear or a lion or whatever, you don't have to be able to run fast. You only have to be able to run faster than the person next to you. And that's exactly what's going on in this exam. You just have to work harder or smarter than the person next to you. Now, a person who does feel that they didn't do their best in today's exam is very likely to beat themselves up about that and therefore not do as well next Thursday because they already think they've done badly. And this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. However, if you put today aside and just think, no, I'm going to get on with it and do my best, you surely will. And that's why I started with this question. When you look back in August, do you want to look back at yourself and think, oh, I didn't do as well as I wanted, but I still kept going. I concentrated on my other exams. I treated each exam as though it was my first one so I could do my best. Or do you want to remember yourself as getting worn down by the exams and beating yourself up about where you didn't get the right answers? Well, I imagine it's the former. You don't want to be the person who beats themselves up. And this is why you shouldn't beat yourself up. Nobody comes out of an exam thinking that they've done their absolute best. It's impossible under exam pressure to do brilliantly all the time. So you're always going to make mistakes, and you're always going to look back and think, oh, if only I'd thought of that. Why didn't I do this? And that's natural. That happens to everyone. You need to put those doubts aside and focus on the stuff that you've done well. So have you worked hard in the exam and coming up to the exam? If you have, that will pay off in the exam. In fact, because you've worked hard, you've probably started to think of lots of great things you could have put in the exam and didn't. It's because you know so much. Did you keep writing? My guess is if you're beating yourself up, you probably did keep writing. And that is the major difference between students who succeed and don't. Pupils who don't succeed finish the exam early and just don't keep writing. They stop believing. And they lack a sense of urgency. And the chances are, if you're beating yourself up, it's because you do have a sense of urgency, because you want to do well. And hold on to that positive, because it does make you different to students who don't do well. You're probably saying that you revised quotations, but you couldn't fit them all in. Well, that doesn't matter. None of us can fit them all in, but you did revise quotations. You had some to use in your answer. It's very likely, if you've been watching my videos, that you focused on the author's ideas. And if you didn't, you know to do that next time. It's going to boost your grade. I hope that these two are happening when you watch my videos. And if you haven't done these, then I suggest you do by the next exam on Thursday. Give yourself a break today. But when you come back to revise, make some notes from the videos. Probably the best way to do it is after the end of the video because it's much quicker. And then you can see what you don't know Whereas if you make notes during the video, you can kind of pretend that you understood it all, but you don't really know. However, you might get to the end and miss loads out, which is fine. That again is completely normal. And then I recommend you watch the good ones again at about 1.75 speed. So they go much more quickly. And it has the added advantage of you revise the same content twice and remember it much more. Another top tip is to do that second viewing the next day, and that will help it stick in your brain more. And of course, there are lots of good YouTubers out there. They don't have to be my videos. They could be anyone's that you value. Now, we all find it difficult to bounce back from what we think of as a setback. And so far, I've been trying to tell you that you don't have to worry about that setback. You've got another go at the next paper. And also, if you are worried, the chances are it's because you've already revised quite a bit and planned the sorts of responses you'd like to give, and the ones that you gave just don't measure up to the hard work that you've already done. But the fact is, you're still probably further ahead than other people who took the exam, and that's going to give you a higher grade. However, I think, and this is a personal thing as a teacher, I think this confidence gap between girls and boys does also exist in school. And you're more likely, in general, this is, okay, you're more likely in general as a girl to think that you've done worse than you have. Girls are much more self-critical, especially as teenagers, than boys. And this is a news article that says this holds true even for women in highly paid professions. And now, if that does describe you, I want you to think about August, and when you look back on these exams and think, maybe Mr. Salles was right. Maybe I shouldn't beat myself up so much. Maybe I did okay. All right, not as well as I hoped to, but I worked really hard, and so something good would have stuck in that exam, and I didn't let it get me down for my next exams, not just in English, but my other exams that I'm taking. And one of the reasons I mention that is that 58% of my viewers in the last month are female and 42% are male. And so typically what I see is girls often revise harder, but then beat themselves up more when they don't get the grades they want. But remember, you haven't got that grade yet. It's not written in stone, and you've still got another exam, which incidentally for AQA is worth a few more marks. So the next exam has a real opportunity to turn around how you did in this one. You can do even better. And to help you over the next week, I will be making quite a few videos. I shall make some on the power and conflict and how to compare those poems. I'll make some on a few of the relationships poems that I haven't really made many videos on so far. I'll give you some more on inspector calls, the kinds of quotations that you need, something that will help you for the exam, and I'm going to try to give you some predictions. Now remember, my predictions are just guesses, and I'm going to do those later because what I'll say to you is you've got to revise everything, but I'm going to give you a prediction just in the last few days before the exam, just so you can focus on a particular thing if you're not sure where to put your best efforts. I did that with Jekyll and Hyde and A Christmas Carol and Macbeth for this round of exams. I got the exact question for Jekyll and Hyde and A Christmas Carol, but I didn't get Macbeth. Now bear in mind that the examiners could ask probably 6 to 10 questions for any text. So to get 2 right and 1 half right, I spotted Macbeth and thought that it would be with Lady Macbeth as well, but there you go. That's a pretty decent track record. I'm a bit nervous of making more predictions because I'd like to quit on a high, but I will actually give you my strong suspicion about an inspector calls. I don't have much of an idea about relationships. I do have a sneaky feeling about power and conflict, but of course that could be completely and utterly wrong. Anyway, I'll have a good old think about how to help you with those videos. Good luck with your revision. Don't beat yourself up. If you've tried hard, that's all you can ask yourself. Look back in August with a sense of pride that you did your best. No one will ever ask you to do any more, and this is the thing, you will never ask yourself to do any more than your best if you think about it. So see you soon on my channel. Good luck with the exams.